What is going on, college basketball fans? Welcome back to another video. Today we have our updated full March Madness bracket predictions, and what we do here on this channel, if you guys are new here, we take Joe Lunardi's most recent Bracketology, which came out today as I am recording this video Tuesday, November 18th, and we put it into our own PDF where we fill it out from the first round all the way to the national championship based on what I think would happen if the tournament started today. Now, we are very early in the season. The season actually just started a few weeks ago, but this is my first one of the regular season. We had a few of these where we did preseason bracket predictions, and yeah, I'm ready to get into these pretty much every single week. We come out with one of these on the channel, so if you guys enjoy this video, make sure you guys subscribe if you guys haven't already. Before we fill it out, I just want to take a quick look at the bubble because there are a lot of really good bubble teams. I think Oklahoma State with a win over Texas A&M looking really good this year. Kansas State had a win over Cal, almost blew it. Almost blew one to Tulsa yesterday. Very interesting team with Jerome Tang. He seems to have a really good backcourt as well. Villanova, interesting team. Kept it pretty close with BYU in the opener. Maryland lost to Georgetown, but then came back and beat Marquette on the road. Mississippi State, yes, they did lose to Iowa State, but they got Josh Hubbard. They got a really good backcourt and a really good team. I think they're going to find a way to make the tournament. Clemson, interesting team. I think the winner of them and my team, West Virginia, might be in the tournament picture next week whenever Joe Lunardi comes out with one of these. So a lot of really good teams on the bubble right now, guys. I just wanted to quick go over that because some of these teams over here on the first four and next four out are not going to be in this video, so at least for the predictions part. So I thought I'd give them a shot because a lot of those teams I do feel like will find a way here to make it in the field. So starting off, we do have Purdue as our #1 overall seed. No surprise here, especially with that huge, massive win over Alabama. True road game. Going to be a quad 1 win for sure for this entire season. They look really good. Braden Smith is an absolute dog. I mean, I see a lot of people hate on him. I don't know why. I think he's one of the more funner players to watch in college basketball with his passing ability. He is so good. He makes so many awesome creative plays, shot fakes, dribbling, just an awesome playmaker, and he can score in the clutch as a closer when you need him to. I don't know why he gets a lot of hate, but I really like Braden Smith, and I really like this Purdue team. Definitely going to have them win, and I'm going to say over Little Rock, where Little Rock beats Southern. A little throwback there to Little Rock when they upset Purdue. I believe it was a 12-5 at that time when Chris Beard was Little Rock's head coach. But we will take Purdue for sure. Ever since they got Trey Kaufman back, everything has clicked. They needed him, and they were winning without him. They have some other good bigs. I mean, Oscar Clough, the new guy from South Dakota State, has been a beast. We knew that. Daniel Jacobson off the bench. They got other bigs. They have one of the best front courts in the country. But Braden Smith, very good. Fletcher Lawyer has been playing really good this year as well. I mean, that senior backcourt and an amazing front court. Purdue has all the makings to win the championship this year. Missouri versus San Diego State. That would be an awesome 8-9 matchup. I don't know why San Diego State is a 9 seed. They haven't, they're untested so far this year, so I get it. They don't have their resume. But they are going to have a shot at Michigan here very soon during Feast Week, and I think that is definitely going to be at least a close game. And I think San Diego State actually might win that game with Magoon Guath, with Miles Byrd. San Diego State's got some dogs, guys. Brian Dutcher's got this team cooking again. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run this year. And I'm sorry, Missouri. I just have to take San Diego State over you guys. I really like Mark Mitchell. I like Jacob Cruz. You guys have a solid squad again. And there are 8-9 matchups where I feel like Missouri could win for sure. San Diego State, I don't think they're a 9 seed. I think they're way better than that. I think that they would win that game. North Carolina versus South Florida. South Florida actually looks like they are really good. Interesting choice out of the American Conference at this point for sure. And against North Carolina, that wouldn't be no easy feat there for the South Florida Bulls, but I think I am going to pick them. I really do like Caleb Wilson. I think he's a very underrated freshman this year in college basketball. Very good defender, very good NBA prospect, and he should have a good game in this one as well. I'm not sure if I trust everybody around North Carolina. I know that they did get a good win over Kansas. I think they're actually better than what I was giving them credit for in the preseason. They're definitely going to be a March Madness tournament team. But I don't know. I feel like they could get upset still with the right matchup. I like the South Florida team, and I think whoever comes out of the American this year is going to be a very tough team to get out. I think that they are going to be a team that is going to be able to pull off an upset over many 5 seeds, because I don't think it's going to be Memphis this year. And I think one of those teams out of the American is going to be very, very good. Next up, we got Iowa State versus McNeese. I don't trust McNeese. I mean, they lost Will Wade as their coach. I think they're going to be on the decline. It's very possible that they could win their conference this year, but I don't see them knocking off Iowa State. Kansas versus either Georgia or Nebraska. Very good 11 matchup here in the first 4 games. Georgia and Nebraska, that would be a very good treat. I am actually going to take Nebraska here. They've been playing really good. Got a good win over Oklahoma, put up over 100 points. And we got a battle of the Midwest here between Kansas and Nebraska. And even though Kansas, they got Darren Peterson, who is a very, very good player. Flory Badunga is awesome as well. I like this Kansas team, but I feel something's telling me Nebraska would win this game. They looked really good against Oklahoma, guys. I'm going to trust Nebraska ball here to get their first ever win in March Madness in program history. I think that would be awesome to do that against a blue blood like Kansas, another Midwest state. That would be awesome. Storybook. Something that would happen in March Madness. I love it. Give me Nebraska to knock them off and get their first ever March Madness win. They deserve it. Kentucky versus Troy. I just finished, as I'm recording this video, watching Kentucky and Michigan State, and Kentucky did not look good. They were really missing Jaden Quaidance, but scoring-wise, they did not look good in that game against Michigan State, and really defensively, they did not look good either, but Michigan State was just hitting a lot of threes, which is very out of character for them, for sure. But I still think I am going to trust Kentucky to get the win over Troy. I do think Troy is a good team and a very strong contender out of the Sun Belt. They would take a good matchup for them, I feel like, to probably get a win, but I do think it is possible Troy gets a win, but I definitely got to go with Kentucky here for now. Indiana versus Creighton, another really good matchup. Creighton's tough. I mean, they're so well coached. Coach McDermott is so good, but in that second half against Gonzaga, they really let me down. I was like, okay, this is going to be a close game. Creighton's hanging in there with Gonzaga. It's back and forth. The second half, Creighton just completely disappeared. And that worries me because I think Indiana has a really good team. Tucker DeVries has been playing very good this year. And I got to go with Indiana. They're playing so good. And I do think they would win that matchup. Next up, we got Louisville versus East Tennessee State. East Tennessee State could be sneaky because anybody out of that league usually can put up a fight. And I wouldn't put it past ETSU to put up a fight with Louisville, but the way Louisville's playing this year, they look like a really true contender. I got to go with Louisville for sure in this one. The way they knocked off Kentucky at home, which, doesn't look as good in hindsight because of how Kentucky looked against Michigan State, but we know that Kentucky's better than how they looked against Michigan State for sure. But Louisville looked really good, not just against Kentucky, but everybody else that they played. They've just been dominating, looking really good. Got to go with Louisville between Isaac McNeely, Michael Brown, Ryan Conwell. That backcourt is just phenomenal, and it is everything we expected it to be in the preseason. Let's go ahead and fill out the rest of our first round. We got UConn versus Florida Gulf Coast. Definitely going to go with UConn here in this one. I am really high on UConn this year. I think that they have a very, very high ceiling. as far as how far they can go. USC versus Virginia, that would be a fun one. Coach Musselman versus Coach Ryan Odom, two really good coaches. I feel like Virginia's, starting their rebuild with Ryan Odom. They got a lot of new guys out of the portal. USC got some guys out of the portal as well, but Eric Musselman's been building over at the Trojans a little bit more. I'm going to trust USC here to get it done in this one over Virginia in the 8-9. Then we got Texas Tech versus Akron. Akron is very good out of the MAC. I actually think that they probably do win the MAC conference. Them, maybe Miami of Ohio. Two teams that were really good last year and are really good again. I thought about this one. I really thought about it, but I'm going to go with Texas Tech. I'm not sure if Texas Tech anymore is a Final Four team based on what I've seen so far. And that's not just from the Illinois game. They actually look pretty good in the Illinois game, even though they lost. JT Toppin was going bananas. But I don't know. I don't know if Texas Tech has enough around JT Toppin, Christian Anderson. Those two are stars, so I don't know if they have enough to make the Final Four. I thought about taking Akron over them, but I think Texas Tech would win that game. Then we got Tennessee versus Hawaii. I thought about Hawaii a little bit too, not as much as Akron. I think it is a possible upset. I think seeing Hawaii in the tournament would be awesome, but I am going to go with Tennessee. They've been actually pretty consistent in recent years as far as winning a couple games in the tournament, Tennessee, and making it to the second weekend. I'm going to trust them here against Hawaii. Then we got Arkansas versus Liberty. This is one that I am going to take, and I know people are saying, no, don't take Liberty. They fooled us all last year. They're returning a lot of guys on that team, and they shoot the ball very, very well. I think, I don't know what happened against Oregon last year in the first round of the tournament, but this Liberty team is very good. One of the best mid-majors in college basketball. There's a reason Joe Lunardi has them as an 11 seed right now as a mid-major. I think they're very good, and Arkansas is good too. That's a tough matchup to have to deal with Darius Acuff Jr. and Malik Thomas in that John Calipari team that went to the Sweet 16 last year. But I think Liberty can get it done. They can be knocked off. John Calipari has shown that he has underestimated teams in the tournament before. Even whenever they faced Kansas State a few years ago, Kansas State team was a 3 team, and he was underestimating Marquise Newell and that Keontae Johnson team. That was crazy to underestimate them, and I feel like he's done that a lot while he's at Kentucky, with St. Peter's, with a lot of teams. They underestimate. I could see that being a situation that could happen here. Not saying that they're for sure going to win, but I would like Liberty in that matchup, and I feel like a lot of people would not want to take it just because of what Liberty did last year, but this team is very good. Gonzaga versus Cal Baptist. I'm going to go with Gonzaga for sure. Their backcourt has impressed me a lot. I knew their front court was going to be dominant, and it is. Tyon Grant-Foster obviously is very, very good. That was such a good pickup for them, but their guards have impressed me. That was the big question mark for me, and they look pretty good. Ohio State, Georgetown, that would be a amazing 7-10 matchup in the first round. Possible overtime game. It's going to be that close. I really do think it will be. It comes, very good backcourts. Bruce Thornton versus Malik Mack, John Mobley Jr. on Ohio State as well, and KJ Lewis on Georgetown. It comes down to coaching for me. I'm taking Ed Cooley over Jake Diebler every day of the week. Give me Georgetown Hoyas to get it done. They looked awesome against Clemson. They looked really good defensively as well. KJ Lewis was going stupid in that game. If KJ Lewis can get hot during the tournament, I could see Georgetown going very far. Then we got Arizona versus Montana. Montana kind of sneaky as well. They beat UNLV this year, and UNLV, even though they lost to UT Martin as well, who's kind of sneaky, surprised to not see them in this bracket. UNLV beat Memphis, so Is UNLV, did they get lucky? Is Memphis bad? I don't know. We're going to find a lot of things out, but Montana might be kind of sneaky there. I'm still taking Arizona, though, for sure. I'm not going to pull the 15/2 out right here. Then we got Houston versus the Navy Midshipmen. I'm going to take the Houston Cougars all day. Barely snuck out of one against Auburn, but Kingston Fleming showed me a lot of promise at point guard. I mean, that showed me something there. I was worried with them losing LJ Cryer. Where are they going to get their shot making from? It's going to be a little bit from him, a little bit from Emmanuel Sharp, and a little bit from Milos Uzan, but not so much 3 points by Milos Uzan. They really need Emmanuel Sharp to be a good 3-point shooter throughout the tournament if they do want to go really far. If they want to win a national championship, he has to. He has to be an elite shooter. I don't know if he is that for sure, but Kingston Flemings, as the freshman point guard, showing a lot of promise there, has given me a little bit of confidence in Houston for sure. St. Mary's versus Oregon would be an awesome 8-9 matchup. Oregon struggled a little bit against mid-majors so far this year, and here they're going to have to go up against the mid-major, the best mid-major, and that is St. Mary's, and I'm taking the Gales in this one. I think the Gales have one of their best teams in a while. They have looked awesome so far this year, dominating wins over other really good mid-major teams like St. Thomas, North Texas, Ohio, dominating these teams. And the Gales are just so good of a program at this point. I trust them here against Oregon, even though I feel like Oregon does have the potential, and sometimes they do start off slow. I'm not sure which Feast Week tournament Oregon is in, but I'm sure they're going to show up for it. They did last year and knocked off some big teams. Pretty sure they beat Alabama or Houston last year in the Feast Week tournament. We're going to learn a lot about a lot of teams here coming up the next few weeks. Michigan State versus Yale. Michigan State just looks so good. Coming off that win against Kentucky, no way am I taking Yale over them. Tom Izzo has himself a squad that can play defense. Oh my gosh, and they were shooting the ball very well. If Michigan State can shoot the ball half as good as that, they're going to be a very tough out. Alabama versus High Point. High Point sneaky for sure. High-powered offense, but I can't take them over Alabama. Just such a good backcourt Bama has this year. Next up, we got Vandy versus St. Louis. Very, very tough 6 versus 11 matchup, because here's the thing. Both these teams actually have a lot of really good guard depth and a lot of players that are scoring in double digits every single game, averaging double digits. And I really like this Vanderbilt team. They've looked awesome so far this year. I think Mark Byington is one of the most underrated head coaches in college basketball. St. Louis, 4-0. Them and a few other teams out of the A-10, I think, are clear top teams in the A-10 so far. I would love to see St. Louis in the tournament because I want to see Robbie Avita, the Goggles, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in March Madness because he's a senior this year. This is going to be his last chance to get in. They got snubbed 2 years ago when he's at Indiana State. I want to see him in. I just can't do it. This Vanderbilt team's too good. I want to take St. Louis, but I'm taking Vandy. This Vanderbilt team is really good, and I think are going to surprise a lot of people when they get to SEC play this year. Next up, we got BYU versus St. Thomas. As I mentioned, St. Mary's dominated them, but St. Thomas is a really good team, and they're March Madness eligible this year. They weren't last year, and they were very good. Very, very good. Almost won their league. I think that they could win their league again. I don't think they're beating BYU. I don't think that they are beating BYU. I think this BYU team is getting better and better. I think they played their best game against UConn. Actually looked really good. Almost knocked off UConn, even with Kiba Keita injuring his head early in the game. So with Kiba Keita, it's possible they could have won that game. I mean, that is a big piece. Your starting center who's an anchor defensively. I really like this BYU team. Really like them. Then we got Auburn versus Iowa. And I know Auburn just played a close game against Houston. Got knocked off there, but played a great game. I mean, Todd Pettiford looked better in that game. I expect him to keep getting better and better. I kind of thought that he was going to be more towards a 20-point per game scorer this year. I'm not so sure now, but I think he's getting there. Who is a 20-point per game scorer is Bennett Sturts. And this Iowa team under Ben McCollum looks really good so far. I'm taking the 10 over the 7 here. Give me Iowa in this Bennett Sturts-led Hawkeyes team. Ben McCollum, Tavion Banks, really good backcourt. Give me Iowa to move on. Then we do have Illinois versus the Vermont Catamounts, and I am going to go with Illinois. I mean, this team is built very, very well, and yeah, they're going to be a very tough out this year, I feel like. Next up, last region, we do have Duke as our number 1 seed versus Long Island. I am going to take Duke. They're playing Kansas right now as I'm recording this video, so I'm going to catch the end of the first half, second half here after this video. We will see how they are doing. Very excited to watch Cam Boozer play once again. Darren Peterson not playing tonight, but should be a very good game. Probably, maybe Duke will just run them out of the gym. Then we got Baylor versus Ole Miss in our 8-9 matchup, and this one would be very good. I think this would be one of the harder 8-9s to pick for sure. I'm going to go with Baylor. Scott Drew, Chris Beard, 2 really good coaches. I'm going to go with Baylor, completely new team. They've looked really good so far. I'm going to go with the Bears. That's a tough one to pick, though. Very 50-50. If you want to go Ole Miss there. Spoiler alert. You know, maybe Baylor could compete with Duke a little bit. I feel like whoever wins that would probably lose to Duke, though. UCLA versus Northern Iowa. I'm going to go with UCLA. I really thought about this upset, though, because I do feel like whoever's going to come out of the Missouri Valley Conference is always going to be a threat. And it's not looking like Drake this year. They don't look very good. It's actually not looking like Bradley this year. Northern Iowa is always in the mix to win that league. I don't know who it's going to be this year. It could be Northern Iowa. And they're going to be a very good team, whoever comes out of the Missouri Valley. I really thought about this one. I think UCLA is beatable for a team out of the mid-majors for sure in the first round. But I'm going to go with this UCLA team. I think Donovan Dent is going to get better and better throughout the season. They're going to play to their strengths, and they're going to win some games. St. John's versus Towson. This is one I also thought about for an upset. And we're yet to have a big upset yet. And yes, that's right. We're going to have one right here. I'm sorry, St. John's fans, but Towson is a force. And they probably should have made the NCAA tournament last year. They've been really good in their league the last few years, and I think this is the year they make the tournament. Are they going to get a win in the first round? I'm not sure, but I think St. John's, very tough matchup. Hey guys, I want to interrupt this video just for a second to tell you guys about Poggers. They are a partner that I am affiliated with that I actually really enjoy. I have some. I've been drinking it. And if you guys are interested in it, they got energy drink, hydration mix, all that good stuff. If you guys are interested in it, click the link in the description. Go to their site. They got a lot of deals going on right now for you guys. And on top of those deals, you can get an extra 10% off if you guys use my code Dannyology. So if that is something that you guys are interested in and want to buy, make sure you guys use my code to get the best deal. And now back to the video. Usually, so far this year, they haven't really been too good defensively other than Dylan Mitchell. So we'll see how Ian Jackson steps up. I mean, very tough front court of Zuby Ejiofor and Bryce Hopkins. But I'm going to go with Towson as a sleeper here. 13/4 upset. Let's go. Wisconsin versus either Cincinnati or Utah State. I like the Cincinnati roster. I don't really trust their coach in Wes Miller. I'm going to go with Utah State here for sure out of the Mountain West, but I am going to have Wisconsin beat Utah State after that. And I really like John Blackwell, underrated player in college basketball. Wisconsin definitely a team to look out for here in the next few weeks as we go through Feast Week. Florida versus Youngstown State. I am going to go with the Florida Gators. I will say Florida, their backcourt has been very underwhelming so far this year. Like, very underwhelming. I noticed in the first game against Arizona, kind of called it out. Hasn't gotten too much better since. I mean, Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee have not lived up to the hype so far this year. Thomas Hall has lived up to the hype. Alex Condon has looked really good. The backcourt, some question marks there. We'll see how they continue to play if they turn it up. But they need them. Florida really needs that backcourt to step up. But I do think their front court would carry them past Youngstown State for sure. NC State versus Texas. I actually think Texas has a chance in this one. I am going to go with NC State. But Texas, they're not bad. They're not bad at all. Sean Miller's there at head coach now. He's building something, but I think, Will Wade also building something at NC State. They've looked really good. Good win against VCU the other night. Darian Williams is a beast. I don't know how far NC State can make it this year, but I feel like it's going to be a close game between them and Texas, and they will be able to pull it out. Then we got Michigan versus the Siena Saints. Siena actually lost yesterday, as I'm recording this, which was Monday, on a half-court buzzer beater to Colgate. That was insane. I was watching the ending of that yesterday. Crazy ending to that game, but Siena could definitely win their league. I don't think they're beating Michigan. I've been kind of not too high on Michigan based on what I've seen so far this year. I do expect them to get better, though, and they win close games. I don't think it would be that close against Siena, but they do win close games, so we'll see. I will have them move on to the second round, though, here. Now our next round, let's go ahead and finish the regions. We got Purdue versus San Diego State. I do think this would be a very tough matchup for any one seed in the second round to go against San Diego State. That defense, they're well coached. They got good guard play. They got an anchor down low in Magungwath who can also stretch the floor as a true 7-footer. That's going to be a tough game for Purdue. But luckily for them, they have one of the best, if not the best, front courts in college basketball, along with one of, if not the best, point guard in college basketball. I'm going to go with Purdue. It's really hard to find teams that are going to be able to beat Purdue this year in March Madness. I got to go with the Boilermakers here. South Florida versus Iowa State. I really want to keep moving the South Florida Bulls on, but Iowa State's looked awesome so far this year. A win over Mississippi State. Taman Lipsey has been playing good as that two-way point guard. Josh Jefferson and Mom Silvic killing it, man. Give me Iowa State here to move on to the Sweet 16. This is a tough one here. I could see a world where maybe Nebraska knocks off Kentucky as well, and I kind of want to take it. But I do think when they get Jaden Quaidance back, I think, but Kentucky's shown that they're very beatable because if they're not hitting their three-point shots, they don't look good. The problem with that is I think they would lose against a really good defense. I'm not sure Nebraska's a fun team to watch with Price Sanford and them boys. Very good, high scoring. Maybe it could score with Kentucky. I'm not sure if they can outscore Kentucky, but I don't think they have the defense to be able to stop them. I think Kentucky's going to lose to more of a defensive team, more than likely. So I got to go with Kentucky here. Unfortunately, I really wanted to go with Nebraska, but I couldn't do it. And then we got Indiana versus Louisville. And as good as Indiana's looked so far, Louisville has looked like one of the best teams in the country. I got to go with Louisville. Let's finish out this region, the Elite Eight. or to go to the Elite Eight. We got Sweet 16 here. We got Purdue versus Iowa State, and I got to go with Purdue. I mean, I actually think San Diego State would be a harder matchup for Purdue than Iowa State. No shade to Iowa State. I think they're good. Very good defensively as well, but San Diego State is a very good team. Kentucky versus Louisville. Rematch. We've seen this one. Louisville's looked awesome. I got to go with Louisville for sure. This is a matchup we've already seen. I know Louisville was at home. Kentucky kind of kept it close, was keeping it in range at least all the way to the end, but I got to go with Louisville. I think Michael Brown Jr. has shown, even as a freshman, that he is a very good point guard and can make the right decisions and be a scorer as well. Just an amazing backcourt at Louisville, one of the best. Now, can that Louisville backcourt defend Braden Smith in this Purdue team and that Purdue front court? Are they going to be able to handle Trey Kaufman-Wren, Oscar Clough, Daniel Jacobson, and them boys? I'm not sure. I think the X factor for Purdue is for sure Fletcher Lawyer. If he's knocking down threes, Purdue is going to be one of the more unbeatable teams in the country. I think that they really are the best team in the country. I mean, just on the eye test, if you're watching how they looked in that Alabama game, was able to close it out. Braden Smith, he wants to win, man. He's been to a national championship game before in his sophomore season. He's a senior now. He's the guy on this team, him and TKR. I have a hard time not picking Purdue to the Final Four in every bracket I make so far this year. It's very, very tough. Next up, we do have Houston versus St. Mary's in our next region. Our first one, we got Purdue, the number 1 seed, making it to the Final Four over Louisville. Houston, St. Mary's. Again, St. Mary's would be a tough team to face for any 1 seed in the second round. I think St. Mary's and San Diego State are going to get higher seeds than an 8 or a 9 by the time we get to March Madness. I can almost guarantee that. So that is going to be a tough game for Houston, but I am still going to pick them. Like I said, I think that actually, I wish St. Mary's had a better matchup because I kind of wanted to take them far, and I feel like by the time we get to March, as long as they'll keep looking the way they are looking right now, I'm going to take St. Mary's at least to the Sweet 16, if not further, this year in March Madness. They look that freaking good. But I am going to go with Houston here, at least for now, here in the Sweet 16. Then we got Michigan State versus Alabama. What a 4-5 matchup. That would be a gift. Alabama, very good at scoring. A lot of really good guards. Michigan State, though, more of a defensive team. Really good front court. Jackson Kohler has shown to be an absolute bucket. So that's tough there, If Alabama's hitting a lot of threes, they could pull away, and maybe Michigan State just never can catch up. But if Michigan State's holding the lead, playing good defense, and dominating down low, because that is where kind of Alabama's weakness lies, is in their front court, then I feel like Michigan State would win. But we have shown that Michigan State's shown that they can hit some threes like they did against Kentucky. If they play like that, it's going to be hard to beat them. So I got to go with Michigan State. Tom Izzo's got himself a squad once again, and we're taking Sparty to the Sweet 16 over Alabama. That stings to me. I mean, Alabama I had as a preseason Final Four team. I still think they have the potential to get there, even though they lost to, in my opinion, the best team in college basketball in Purdue. And they still have a fantastic win this year over St. John's. And even in the loss against Purdue, they were putting up points. Like, they do not hardly ever have an off game when it comes to shooting the basketball. So Alabama's a very easy team for me to trust. Nate Oates is going to be living in the Elite Eight second weekend of college basketball, or second weekend of March Madness and the Final Four. He's going to be living there, and he's already made one Final Four. It wouldn't surprise me too much if he made it this year, but I got it after that win against Kentucky. I gotta take Michigan State here in this spot. Vandy versus BYU. BYU, excellent team. AJ Dabansa, Richie Saunders, Rob Wright, very good. But Vandy's got good guard play as well. And I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off here. 6/3 upset. I'm taking Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt is very, very good and underrated. Not many people talking about Vanderbilt, including myself. I need to give Vanderbilt a little bit more respect in my power rankings, because the more and more I watch them, the more and more I am impressed with them. A lot of really good guard depth, and I don't think they're a better team than BYU, but I definitely think that they can beat them, and I think Mark Byington is a very good coach. They're going to be at least in this game and have a chance to win. I could see this one being a buzzer-beater win and shock and break a lot of brackets, if there's any left at this point, because this will be in the round of 32. But I'm going to take Vandy. Because upsets happen. I like to pick them, how I think things could unfold. And I think Vanderbilt has that potential. Iowa versus Illinois. I really thought about taking Iowa as well in a 10/2 upset over Illinois, but Illinois has been awesome. I got to go with them. They beat Texas Tech and didn't even have Tom Islov either down low, so that's going to be a huge help for them. Andrej Stojakovic, Kai Boswell, they have a lot of hoopers on that team. Houston versus Michigan State. Defense in this game. Tom Izzo versus Kelvin Sampson, 2 Hall of Famers as head coaches. This would be one for the ages, and in a tight one, at this point, I got to take Michigan State. I mean, Jackson Kohler was going off against Kentucky, and his teammates were shooting threes all around. Jeremy Fears Jr. was diming it up. Veterans on this team, guys. Veterans, and I like this Sparty team. This Sparty team, I think, can make the Final Four. The team we saw against Kentucky, they can make the Final Four. Vandy versus Illinois. I'm going to keep it rolling with the doors. Give me the Commodores. Give me Vanderbilt to the Elite 8 this year as a 6 seed. It will be a 5 versus 6 Michigan State versus Vanderbilt in the Elite 8 for a chance to go to the Final Four. I mean, they have a ton of guards on their team, really good shooters. Duke Miles, Tyler Tanner, Tyler Nickel, studs on this team, and I'm very excited to see them face more of a test. They did beat UCF this year already, put up over 100 points on them, but I'm ready to see them against some more competition. They're going to get a lot of that in the SEC. I think they're a big-time sleeper in that league this year, and Vandy has really exceeded my expectations already this year, and I can tell they are going to be a force, and one that I'm not sure a lot of people are ready for them yet. I'm not sure. But then we got Michigan State versus Vanderbilt, 5 versus 6 seeds. I'm taking Michigan State. Tom Izzo gets back to the Final Four with this team of Jeremy Fears, Cohen Carr, Jackson Kohler, Carson Cooper. Really, really solid team. Very good defense, one of the best defenses in the country. Hard route, very hard route. I mean, that is going to be tough to knock off Alabama, Houston, and then you get Vanderbilt, which not a lot of people would look at as like a Houston or Alabama, but a tough path. Izzo, he can get it done. 2 more regions, guys. We got UConn. We got USC. I'm just going to mention it. What I have coming out of this region is going to be kind of crazy. So it's my sleeper for this bracketology. We got UConn. We got USC. I do think Musselman can, with this team, Elijah Arenas, Chad Baker-Mazzara, could be keep it close with UConn, but I'm definitely going to take UConn here. I mean, this UConn team, very good backcourt, solo ball, Silas DeMary. They got Alex Caravan, Terrace Reed down low. Alex Caravan has been playing a lot better this year. He looks more and more like a more refurbished version of like his first 2 seasons where they won the national championship. Last year he kind of seemed a little bit not as good for some reason. This year he looks good, really good, and this UConn team's going to be a contender for sure. Next up, Texas Tech versus Tennessee. I'm going to go with Tennessee here. I don't know what it is about Texas Tech. I think they have some stars. I just feel like they don't have enough for me to trust them just yet. I just can't yet. I mean, we're going to learn a lot about these teams. Like I keep saying that, but we truly are. This is my first bracket predictions since the season began. So I'm still learning a lot about these teams as well. I'm going to trust Tennessee here. The freshman Nate Ament, Jacoby Gillespie at point guard, who has some experience, made the Sweet 16 last year with Maryland. I'm going to take Tennessee. Liberty and Gonzaga. Can Liberty knock off another team? They knocked off Arkansas and John Calipari. And that's a tough front court for Liberty to have to face. But they're going to be putting up a lot of threes. Those guards can score. And I think that they can get some March magic in them and knock off Gonzaga and this Mark Few-led team. Give me the Liberty Flames to the Sweet 16. Let's go. Then we got Georgetown versus Arizona. KJ Lewis revenge game. And I feel like he is going to ball out. Him and Malik Mack. Let's do it. 10-seeded Georgetown is going to the Sweet 16 over Arizona. KJ Lewis revenge game. Ed Cooley has arrived with Georgetown in March Madness right now. This is third season at Georgetown. Ed Cooley is a very, very good coach. He proved that when he was at Providence. Even though I wish he would have stayed at Providence, because it felt like he was just one of those guys who was going to stay there and be at Providence for his entire career. And he left for another Big East team. I didn't like that, but I still like Ed Cooley. And I think he's just a great head coach. He's been building stuff at Georgetown ever since he got there. This is the year he has arrived, and he has the Hoyas in the Sweet 16 back where they belong. Next, we got UConn versus Tennessee. I was thinking about taking Tennessee here. I do think that they could beat UConn. It's going to be close, but I think UConn, the better team here. Give me the Huskies to the Elite Eight. And then we do have Liberty versus Georgetown, an 11 versus 10 seed to go to the Elite Eight. And I am going to take the Georgetown Hoyas to kill the flame that is Liberty that got them to the Sweet 16. I mean, that is a perfect name for Liberty, the Flames, because they got some flamethrowers on their team. And like I said, after last year, I'm not sure a lot of people are going to trust them to take them in their bracket this year. I tell you, tune into some Liberty games. They look even better than they did last year, and they are going to be a problem for probably a 5 seed or 6 seed to play in the first round. UConn versus Georgetown. We have a Big East battle in the Elite Eight. I know it surprised me too, because the Big East doesn't look to be having the best year so far in college basketball. In fact, they might only be a 3 or 4 bid league. So, very surprising that I have 2 of them matching up here in the Elite Eight. But I really like the way these teams match up through this region. And given it is a conference matchup, these teams will see each other multiple times this season. 2 times, if not a third, in the Big East tournament. So this could be a possible 4th matchup for these teams. And I think Georgetown gets the better of them this time and makes it to the Final Four as my Cinderella this year. Semi-Cinderella, I mean, they're a Big East team, but they are a 10 seed in this bracket. They've looked really good so far this year defensively. KJ Lewis looked like a 2-way beast against Clemson. was going off. Malik Mack, underratedly a guard that could really heat up in the right time. And if he heats up, I think that this is possible. I know a lot of people call me crazy for that and everything, but I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen. This is just my predictions at this point in the season, and also I like to have fun with my brackets and pull up and pick upsets. And if you guys are sub to me, you guys know I like a good Cinderella, I like the upsets so much, and I am going to pick them. And Georgetown just so happens to be my team right now that I'm really enjoying watching and I think has some potential. Duke versus Baylor. I mentioned earlier, I'm going to take Duke here. I think they're so good. Isaiah Evans, Caleb Foster, the Boozer Bros, especially Cam Boozer. He is such a beast. I'm not so sure that this Duke team's as good as last year's. But I do still believe they have potential to go all the way this year. They are that good, especially offensively, defensively. They are very good. UCLA versus Towson. I really wanted to move Towson on. I think St. John's is better than UCLA. That doesn't necessarily mean Towson's also going to beat UCLA. Because a lot with these upsets, you got to catch these teams at the right time. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have Towson. I think that they could get it done. I think Towson's a very good team in the CAA, and they're going to make the tournament this year. They're going to win the CAA, and they're going to be a scary team to match up against in the first round. I'm going to call that out now. I really do believe they are going to be a force this year. Wisconsin versus Florida. Be an awesome matchup. Reminds me of when they both had those runner buzzer beaters. Man, what year was that? 2017, something like that. Great game. John Blackwell is the best guard in this game for sure. I just don't know if Wisconsin has the front court to compete. I think Florida's front court could carry them far. I'm really looking to see how good that backcourt improves throughout this season. It's really going to determine how I feel about Florida heading into the tournament. NC State versus Michigan. Oh my gosh, this would be a great matchup as well. This would 100% be a close one, even though NC State's a 7 seed. The Michigan plays in close games, but they also win close games, so I'm going to go with Michigan. I feel like I overhyped Yaxel Lindenberg up to this point. I thought that he was going to be really a National Player of the Year contender. I thought he was going to be that level of player. He's just not been so far. So I'm interested to see if that continues or if he's really going to turn up here soon. But even without him, they got some good bigs like Ade Mara, Merez Johnson. They have a lot of bigs on that team, so their front court's no problem for sure. And I think that's where they would mostly win this game for sure. Nermari Burnett, also very good as a shooter for his role. Elliot Cadeau, a good point guard, great defensively as well, which is why I'm also going to go ahead and pick Michigan over Florida. I just think that all around, Michigan's front court can compete with Florida's, and Florida, like I said, I got to see more from Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee. Once I see that, I'm going to trust Florida a little bit more. It's a long season. We will see. Right now, I got to give it to Michigan. Duke versus Towson. This is where Towson's run is going to come to an end. They have to face the Duke Blue Devils in the Sweet 16. But a Sweet 16 run for Towson would be freaking awesome anyway. So that will be fine. And then Duke versus Michigan to make it to the Final Four. And I am going to have the Duke Blue Devils get there. I just think Michigan actually doesn't match up bad against Duke. But I feel like Isaiah Evans, Caleb Foster, the shooters on this Duke team, I think, and Duke's defense is ultimately what could win them this game. They're offensively, Everybody seems in sync when you watch Duke play. John Shire has such an awesome offensive scheme. They've been playing through these forwards, man. Last year Cooper Flagg, this year Cam Boozer. Just excellent playmakers as forwards. They can do it all. Duke back to the Final Four. And now we have Purdue versus Georgetown. Would be an awesome Final Four matchup. I actually think Georgetown, being this hot, just coming off a UConn win, would keep it competitive with Purdue. Ultimately, I don't think that what they have is going to be enough to knock them off, but I would love to see them get to the Final Four. I know it's kind of crazy, but I would really love to see it. I got to take Purdue. And then we got Michigan State versus Duke, 5 seed versus 1 seed here. Michigan State, I could actually see this one. I could see them knocking off Duke here as well. I think Jackson Kohler is a lot better than I thought he was going to be this year. I mean, he is an absolute beast. And we'll just see. It's really going to come down to Michigan State's going to have to make their shots against Duke if they want to beat them. I just don't know if I'd necessarily trust them. I do think they will be good defensively. It will be a close game throughout, but I think ultimately Duke would run away with it in the end. Give me the Duke Blue Devils here in this one. We have our national championship matchup, Purdue versus the Duke Blue Devils. I think it would be a very, very fun championship. I'm going to go ahead and make my pick. It is going to be Purdue. They are my preseason national champion. They look like the best team in college basketball to me right now. I'm going to try not to pick Purdue in a lot of these videos, so don't be surprised if I don't pick Purdue in my next bracket video, because I like to switch it up. I'm sure there's going to be other teams, especially after Feast Week, that catch my eye as far as teams I really think can win the national championship. But right now, I'm really starting to think that Purdue finally avenges that 16-1 loss that they had from 2 seasons ago, and I guess from 3 seasons ago now. That was Braden Smith's freshman year. Wow, time flies. But also avenges their national championship loss from 2 years ago to UConn, and finally wins the championship. I said it a few times already throughout the preseason and everything, but if Purdue doesn't win the championship this year, I don't know if they'll ever get one. I mean, this is probably going to be the best Purdue team ever, if it wasn't the team that made it to the championship a couple years ago with Zach Edey. So we will see and learn more about all of these teams. Right now, I have Purdue getting it done. Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, the X Factor. He's got to show up in the tournament. If he does, as a shooter, they're going to be very, very tough. Trey Kaufman ran, Oscar Clough, Daniel Jacobson. This team is so good. Very, very excited for this. We got a whole season ahead of us for college basketball. Thank God. I'm so happy it's here, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like for me. Hit that subscribe. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. We should get there this college basketball season, right? And thank you so much for watching.